Hi, it's Colin McIntyre here. Welcome to the second video on funnel franchise success tips. The second video about how you would use RedTrack.io to track your Bing advertising campaign promoting a Clickbank offer. So in this second video, I'm going to talk about how you set up RedTrack, how you set up your landing pages. I'm going to talk about Builderall landing pages, the Conversion Pro landing pages, Convertri, because I use that one as well, and finally why at the moment there is an integration error or there's a configuration error between Leadpages and RedTrack, which mean that you can't track everything you would want to. So if you're going to do some big campaigns, I wouldn't at the moment use a Leadpages landing page. So I'll explain that later on. What I will say is I do know that RedTrack are aware of the problem and are looking at whether it's possible to change their code so they'll get rid of the conflict. Anyway, it's quite a long video, so I'm going to get straight into it. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you find it very useful. Okay, we're now going to talk about setting up a campaign in RedTrack. So I'm loading them into the dashboard, and these are the things that we need to set up. First of all, we need to identify our traffic source, and I'm going to talk about Bing advertising, so my traffic source will be Bing. Then going to talk about networks. I'm talking about a Clickbank product, so we'll load Clickbank into the system. We'll then load an offer, in other words, one of the products that Clickbank has. And finally, we'll set up any landing pages that we're using, sending our traffic through a landing page rather than directly to the offer. Okay, but I'll also talk about how you can split the traffic between an offer, directly to an offer and through a landing page. So first of all, very quickly, I'm going to show you how to set up Bing because that's really straightforward. It works straight out of the box. So we go to a traffic source, traffic sources, new, search for Bing, which is there, add it, and you save. It's as simple as that. Nothing more to be said. These are the standard parameters that you get with a Bing campaign. The next thing I want to set up, or you want to set up, is Clickbank. So there's two things that need to be done here. So the first one is select your network. Again, new. You can search for Clickbank. As before, just add it, and there's something that you have to do here in Clickbank which is important. So in Clickbank we need to add this into Clickbank, but where it says replace me, we need to, that needs to be specific to your RedTrack account, and you replace me with your API. So you do that before you paste into Clickbank. So I'll show you, that's the thing that the URL we're going to use. We're going to change replace me with your API, and you get your API from your profile. An API key, and I will blur it so you don't see mine, but the API key is there. So you've got an API which is personal to you that you need to modify the URL. Where do you need to put it in Clickbank? Or in Clickbank, log in, get your dashboard, select vendor settings, and then my site. You come down till you get to Advanced Tools. You can edit them by pressing the button there, and you can see, although I'll blur out my API, that is where you post in that URL, but instead of it saying replace me, it has your API. You test that. If you just put in a new URL, you'll have a button there which says test. It'll come back verified if everything's gone well, and then you save the changes. Once you've done that, you've got Clickbank set up. So we now want to add a Clickbank offer. I've been promoting this dog training course, so I can use that in some of my videos to show you some of the concepts. So what you want to do for that is promote whatever the offer is that you fancy promoting. Promote. And one thing's important here, this TID is actually used by RedTrack as standard with Clickbank. I'm sure you can work around it, but as standard it uses this TID. If you put something in there, it causes a problem. So don't put anything in there at all, otherwise you get TIDs twice, creates problems with RedTrack. So you just create your hop link, and you've got a URL that you need to copy. Then go into RedTrack. From the dashboard, we go offers, and I'm just going to load up my existing campaign so you can see what it looks like. My existing offer. So you give it a name. Ideally just call it the same name it is on Clickbank. Pull down your affiliate network. I'm so far only been marketing Clickbank, so I put that in there. What's the payout? Well, from the marketplace it told me, if I go back here, $31.75 is the average sale. So that's what I've got here, $31.75. And then that is my Clickbank URL I've just got. And then I've added the question mark TID equals click open curly brackets, click ID, close curly brackets. So that's the recommendation for a Clickbank offer. So again, you get that from Clickbank, you enter that in here, and then add at the end, directly after the forward slash, your question mark TID equals open curly bracket, click ID, close curly brackets. Once you've done that, you've got your offer set up. So adding a lander or a landing page to RedTrack is very easy. Click on landers, click on new, give yourself a title, one that you'll recognize, and then add the URL. It's as simple as adding your URL and of your landing page. And then there are two pieces of code that you're going to need to work with. So the first one is your click ID. Now this is the standard IP or domain that RedTrack uses. Now actually I'm using custom domains, so that bit of the code, the RedTrack rdtrck2.com, I replace on my campaigns with the custom domains that I've set up in RedTrack, which I'm not going to cover in these videos, but I may put a separate video up just to go through that process. It's very simple. So I'm using a custom domain, and the thing that is important is if you're using a custom domain in your campaign, you have to use it in your lander, or if you're using it in your lander, you have to use it with your campaign. You can't mix and match, otherwise the system runs into problems. So pretty straightforward. So this is a click URL. So in your landing pages, anywhere that you're clicking, so your buttons need to have this URL added, and I'll show you how to do that for various systems, various landing page builders, in the next parts of this video. The other code that's important is this one, because it's important to know the clicks you're getting from your landing pages, but actually you want to know how many times people have viewed your landing page. So for a landing page views, you need to be putting this code onto your landing pages. As I said, I'm going to go into landing pages in various page builders and show you how to do that. So I want to talk about the scripts that you need to install into your landing pages. So I've got the very simplest type of landing page, which is where I just have a page which brings out some of the text that I know people are searching for, so the search queries I'm picking up on my Bing Microsoft advertising campaign. And then there's a link which takes you through to the offer page. So no opt-in, very simple page, and that page was created in Builderall. So there are two scripts or two pieces of code that you need to add to a landing page. The first one is a script that tracks the number of views of that page, so your landing page views. Now in RedTrack, the ideal place for this, and what I found works for Builderall, is in the body section of your code. Now on Builderall as standard, if you look at your page information, you're able to add scripts in the header, but that didn't work for me, or in the head part of your page. So to get some script into the body, the way to do that is to add some HTML code actually in your page. So if I right click on that, so you can just see what's in there, I've got the script from the campaign and from the landing page information in RedTrack. And the way you do that is you add an app. So you come down here for an element, apps, and then one of the elements is HTML code. So you select HTML code, and then you copy the landing page information from RedTrack and paste it in. The second thing you need to do is to add in your RedTrack click URL, and I've got a couple of buttons on this page, but I'll just show you the one. So right click, action, and then you've got the click. Now on my campaign I'm using a custom domain, but that's where that information is pressed in Builderall. Now I'm working with Convertri as well as a page builder. Now one of the things Convertri has is the ability to import a page you already own, and it'll bring most of it in. The videos have to be added separately. So here's a Convertri version of the page I originally created in Builderall. Just imported it into Convertri and added the videos. So if I go to Convertri, again, two pieces of code to add. So the first one is the tracking code for landing pages, landing page views, and that's click the page button at the top. You have a few options down the side. One of them is custom scripts, and you add your script into the body scripts. So that one's very simple. And then you need to add your links. Now when this imported, the button and the text were actually separate, but both of them had the right link. But if we just show you how to do that, if I select one of them, so selected the text,
and I look at general properties, I have my click tracking URL from RedTrack there. And if I click onto the button shaped graphic rather than the text, I also have the same link. So really easy, no problems setting up in Convertri. So now a simple landing page, again around dog training, and really I've just created this page just to check how the tracking works. So this is the Conversion Pros landing page, and again we've got two pieces of code to add. So the first one we want to add is the landing page views code. And on this case, you have to go to the advanced settings for the page. And you have various options here. You go into tracking code and you have one in the header, you have one in the footer. What I found works is one that's in the header. So that's the landing page views. And then to make sure your button is connected to the click code. So in this case you hover over it and you want to go to the style A. Select that. Come down and you've got various options again along here. You select link and there you can see what I have entered is my custom tracking code. Unfortunately, at the moment there is a problem with Leadpages and RedTrack IO tracking of Leadpages, in that there's an interference between the landing page script and the way that Leadpages manages its graphics or image compression. So here's an example of a landing page I've created in Leadpages, and if there's no code I run that and that's what I get. However, if I have the tracking code that is added to a URL by RedTrack, your image doesn't show up. So I've spoken to both Leadpages and RedTrack about this. Leadpages don't see it as their problem. RedTrack understand the problem. And as I speak, which is the 14th of July 2019, RedTrack don't have a solution, but they are working on a refined code that may solve the problem. But as I've said today, you run into this problem, and because leading page views are an important part of the data that you want to understand when you're tracking your advertising with Bing or Microsoft advertising, then I wouldn't recommend that you use Leadpages for your landing pages in those circumstances. And that doesn't mean that Leadpages aren't really good for lots of your funnels. It just means that if you're going to use Google or Microsoft advertising where you're trying to pass 8 or 10 parameters along your funnel, then Leadpages is not the one for that at the moment if you're going to use RedTrack.
Now once you've got your landing pages or landers in RedTrack terminology set up, so you've got your network Clickbank, you've got a traffic source Bing, you've got landing pages set up, you've got an offer, I showed you the dog training one. Now it's time to set up a campaign. So what you do, and it's very much the same as everything else I've shown you, just hit new. What I'm actually going to do is, rather than do that, just go into my brain training for dogs campaign. So you give it a title, might as well call it the same one. You have a pull down box for your traffic sources. So I had Bing ads set up, so I was able to pull in Bing ads. I'm actually using a custom domain, but if you weren't using the custom domain, you would just, if you hadn't set one up already, you would just default to the standard RedTrack domain.
leave that as standard. There's a few options, but typically you want to leave it as HTTP 302 redirect. I'm doing cost per click advertising. I'm going to start with a campaign aiming at, I'm actually using 42 pence because I'm marketing from the UK, but that's where I'm starting. But you can change that once you've been running your campaign and you've got a feel for how much it's costing you. Fraud check I'm not using. This URL you will need when we go to link to Bing Ads or Microsoft Ads as it is now, and I'll show you that, and that'll be in the next video. So a few selections this side, and then this side is where you actually use RedTrack to split your traffic in the way that you want to. So for each stream, you're going to be sending a portion of your traffic. So Bing will send traffic to your ads, and then that traffic will reach RedTrack and will decide where it should go. So in this case, the first thing I'm doing here is I'm sending 95% of the traffic that comes in for, and filter 1, I'll explain that in a minute, 95% of that comes in and goes directly to the offer. I haven't got a landing page selected. Now actually what I created were filters, and you can do it from here or you can set them up elsewhere. But what I have is sub ID 4 in Bing is the ad group, and so 413 is the ad group, but it's actually the ad group for antisocial dog behavior. So I've got two ad groups. One is for antisocial dog behavior and the other one is about puppy training. Okay, so two sets of ad groups, and the first ones I filter on ad group 1, antisocial dogs. So my first stream is 95% going direct. My second stream is 5% going through a landing page. Now on video 3 I'm going to show you why I've after reviewing data from the data you can get from RedTrack, I've now changed that. Initially I was sending 50-50. 50% of my traffic was going through the landing page and 50% was going direct. But I'm getting better results from direct traffic, so that's where I'm putting up most of my traffic now. And then I've got the same thing here. So stream 3, again it's filtered, but in this case it's filtered on the different ad group, the second ad group, the puppies ad group. And again, 95% of the traffic that comes from that ad group goes directly to the offer, brain training for dogs, and 5% goes through the puppy landing page. In each case I'm sending 100% of the traffic to brain training for dogs. Now it could be that I would want to have two different dog training offers from Clickbank, and if I did that then I could set up more than one offer, but in this case they're all going to the same offer. The final one is a very low weighting, but it's just if anything comes that is from a landing page, either of the two landing pages that I've got there, and hasn't picked up an ad group sub ID for whatever reason, it will just send that traffic. So it's almost like a catch-all, just in case the system doesn't work quite properly. The traffic's not wasted. It still gets sent to the offers. So that's streams. So where am I going to put most of the traffic, or where am I going to put the traffic? You know, weighted. And as I said, I've got 100% of my traffic from ad group 1, 100% of my traffic from ad group 2, and then I've just got a catch or very low weight, so it shouldn't ever be used, but it would be used on the situation I've talked about. Now the filters, you can actually type them in from here. The other way you can do it is you can set up filter presets, which is what I actually did in this case, so they exist. And you can see that here I've got brain training for dogs, dog, and here I've got brain training for dogs, puppies. Now if I just click on that, you can see that that's working with ad group ending 846. And if I look at this one, it's working for Bing ad group 413. Now, as I say, on the third video, I'll show you where you can pick up those IDs in Bing that you can use to set this up. But that's how you can set up your traffic for your campaign, ready to create the final links to Bing. And I'll show you how to do that in the next video.
So we've really covered a load of ground in this video. So we've talked about setting up Clickbank, setting up Bing as the advertising source. We've set up an offer, and we've set up landing pages, and we've installed the code that RedTrack needs to track all of your click information, so your conversions, but also to allow it to split the traffic in the way that you want it to, between different landing pages. So an awful lot of ground. Now in video 3, I'm going to be talking about the last bit, which is actually taking a couple more URLs from your campaign in RedTrack and adding them into Bing. So Bing and RedTrack is connected, and you can start monitoring your campaign as you want to. Hopefully you're finding these videos useful. If you are, and you definitely don't want to miss the third one, please subscribe to my channel. And on that channel you'll find lots of stuff around affiliate marketing, particularly funnel franchise, which is the system which is I'm learning how to do all of this stuff and using it to make money online. So until the third video, bye bye for now.